I talk a lot about Cloudflare Workers, but have you actually seen how easy it is to create them, to deploy them, and to work with them? Well, that's what I'm going to do in this video. So let's just dive right in. So the first thing we'll need is the Create Cloudflare CLI, C3 for short. What this allows you to do is to quickly create new worker projects with a single command. I use pnpm, so it's pnpm create Cloudflare my first worker. So this is what I will be using. There are also templates you could use. Here you can see we have an Astro block starter, MySQL hyperdrive, and finally you can also create your own templates. A couple months ago I created this 10-stack durable object starter. We're not going to use it, but if you wanted to use it, you could pass the template and then the GitHub URL. We're just going to use the CLI here. So a worker can be a simple fetch handler that takes a request and returns a response, or it can be a full stack application. Things like Next.js, 10-stack start, React router, or Remix. Now let's create some workers. Let's start by creating a React Vite worker. You could pick a hello world example here where it's just a worker, but we actually want to use full stack. So we're going to go to framework. Here you should see React. We'll use TypeScript. We'll use all the defaults. While this is installing dependencies, I'm going to create another one here and we'll call this one Astro. Do the same thing. We'll say framework. We'll pick Astro, go back here. Yes, we want to use Git and no, not deploy yet. Our React Vite project is Bootstrap. For Astro, we'll use a basic starter project. And here we'll use SvelteKit because not everything has to be React. SvelteKit minimal. Yes, at TypeScript, pnpm. Yes, we want to use Git. And no, we don't want to deploy. Yes, we use Git. And no, we don't want to deploy our application. All right, in no time, we created 3 projects: React Vite, Astro, and SvelteKit. Before we deploy anything, let's start the dev servers and just see how it works. Pnpm run dev, pnpm dev, pnpm dev. So here we have our React Vite app. Let's open it up in the browser. A simple counter and an API, but it's localhost. Here we have our Astro app. And finally, here we have our SvelteKit app. So we created 3 separate worker projects and we've seen the dev server. The awesome part is how fast we can deploy to Cloudflare. Now, in order to deploy, you need to be logged into Wrangler. You can check if you're logged in. pnpm exec Wrangler, who am I? And here you can see that I am logged in as Yillis. If you are not logged in, you just do pnpm exec Wrangler login, and it will take you to the login page. Let's deploy these 3. pnpm run deploy, pnpm run deploy, pnpm run deploy. Look at it. This one is deployed to the internet. Crazy, right? On the internet. Next one, this one was deployed, Astro, boom. And finally, our SvelteKit app was deployed to the internet. In no time, I deployed these 3 apps to Cloudflare. Like they're served all across the globe. To me, this is already crazy. Initially, they will be deployed under your subdomain. So here it's -yillis.cf.workers.dev, and it takes the worker name. But if you own a domain on Cloudflare, you can deploy to a domain or on a subdomain. For example, let's take our React Vite one, and I'll open up my coding agent and I'll tell it, change the custom domain to wo.yillis.fyi and deploy. I own the yillis.fyi domain on my Cloudflare account. It added a route, it's deploying for me, and it's done. If I open up the browser and I go to wo.yillis.fyi, isn't this crazy? Within no time, it's deployed to the internet under a domain. That is crazy developer experience to me. The ridiculous part is the ecosystem. What do I mean by that? If we look at our Cloudflare products, you can use any of these very quickly in your binding. So you want to use email, use the email servers. Do you need to spin up a browser? Run browser run. Database, D1. Store files, R2. Key value storage, KV. You will need AI, we have Workers AI, AI search, vectorize. All these products you can use very, very easy inside of your workers. And there's a generous free tier. So I set a little challenge. I prepared a couple of prompts and I'm going to have 3 coding agents implement these prompts. So for the React Vite app, I'm thinking, let's use Workers AI and we can create a small chat app that takes an input and then translate it to Gen Z speak. Now I've looked at the docs here and I see that there's this model Kimi K26. So the prompt I prepared, turn this into a minimal text transformation app using Workers AI that takes the user input and translates it to Gen Z language. Use CF Moonshot Kimi K26. So I'm gonna fire off this one first. For Astro, I was thinking we can use something smaller like KV to have some toggles. And the prompt I prepared, turn this Astro template into a website to explain how awesome Cloudflare Workers are, add a few random toggles, and store the values in Cloudflare KV. Create a new KV namespace using Wrangler. And finally, for the SvelteKit, I wanted to have a bit of a challenge. So I was thinking we can upload images to R2 and then save the image metadata in D1, our database. Turn this SvelteKit application into a photo browsing application, create an R2 bucket via Wrangler, add a new database in D1, and the user should be able to select photos from their device and then browse them. We'll kick them off without testing it because I trust the models. I'll just tell it, deploy it. Now this is very chaotic, I realize that, but the goal is to show you how easy it is to create apps on Cloudflare and how fast you can iterate on them. Let's start with this one. We'll open up our wow. I am hungry and would like to eat a hot dog. I'm low-key starving right now. Let me demolish a glizzy no cap. Okay. Yo, that's awesome. I'm gonna leave this up there. Okay, so 1 out of 1 complete. Okay, this one is done and I don't think it deployed it. Let's say deploy it. And meanwhile, it looks like this one is already done as well. Deploy it. Okay, this one is deployed. Let's start here. Cloudflare Workers are awesome. It's true. Start building. Here's a few switches. Extra confetti. Let's turn off dark mode. Whoa. 0 cold starts and deploy to the edge. We definitely want to leave that on. Now let's see if I refresh. Boom. Stored here. And if I go to our account home and I go to KV, we have workers toggles. And if we go to the pairs, edge true, cold start false, dark mode true, confetti true. So this is just the toggle state here stored in KV. Pretty sick. So 2 for 2. We created the toggles, Astro side. We created the Gen Z translator. Now the last thing we want is our SvelteKit application that uploads photos to a bucket and stores them. Wouldn't it be crazy if that works? We have a photo browser. I'm going to add photos. I have me in Australia. So I'm going to select 2, see if that works. What if I click on it? Okay, sure. Now let me refresh. No way, it's there. It's here, it's done, it works. So if I open Safari, for example, this is crazy. Let me show you the database entries real quick so we see it working. So if I go to D1, we now have photos DB and I can explore the data, photos. These are the 2 photos that we have. And if I go to R2, and I presume it's going to be called photos bucket here. And we have our 2 photos in here. I'm amazed. I'm amazed by the platform. Okay, this is ridiculous. So this is to show you the art of possible. I realize none of these apps are production grade, but it's an amazing start. You can focus on a single app, iterate, use all the Cloudflare products, and it just works. For this video, I used my Pi coding agent with Claude Opus, but there's no MCP configured, no crazy custom instructions. So if you have a Cloud Code subscription or Codex, you can do the exact same. And on Cloudflare, you can build anything you can think of. Do you want emails? Do you use the email service? Do you want agents? Use the agents SDK with Flu or Project Thing. I hope this was useful and fun. Like I had fun making this, and it's just crazy how awesome Cloudflare is, right? It's crazy how fast it goes. So thanks for watching. This was awesome. I hope it was useful. See you in the next video.